Om Shri Sai Ram. Distinguished guests, renowned speakers, respected elders, teacher delegates, the staff and students from the Sri Sathya Sai Lokaseva group of institutions, and brothers and sisters seated here in this beautiful gathering and those joining us on the live web stream, a hearty greeting on this beautiful evening of day one of the Global Education Conference 2019. This afternoon saw some delightful and insightful sessions in the form of speaker presentations and roundtable discussions. In the Premamrutham auditorium, at about 2:30 p.m., Dr. Tobin Hart, Professor of Psychology in the University of West Georgia and co-founder of Child Spirit Institute, United States of America, addressed the gathering. And he spoke about two types of knowing. The first is categoric, indirect knowledge, knowledge gained from information. And the other, experiential learning, knowledge gained from direct experience. He said the first is about information and rationality, while the second is about experience, possibility, and resonance. He mentioned that both are important and there is a balance required. But in society today, the first has been gaining more prominence, and therefore, it is time to bring the balance back. This was followed by a question-answer session where Dr. Tobin Hart could interact with the audience as well. Following this, Professor Miriam Villala, Executive Director, Earth Charter International Secretariat, addressed the gathering. She spoke about the Earth Charter and the values that it upholds, which is like an ethical compass. And the 7 elements of sustainability values education includes human connection, human nature, inquiry, dialogue, aesthetics, holistic and systemic approach, art and storytelling. She spoke about the struggle between ego and eco, a beautiful play of words but a poignant message of balancing human nature. She also spoke about being more rather than interested in having more. And it was a beautiful connection that we found between her and the audience, and the talk was beautifully received. And in parallel, there was a roundtable discussion going on as well.
Good evening. It is my proud privilege to present to you all the proceedings of the roundtable panel that was conducted simultaneously this afternoon from 2:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the adjacent Premdeep Hall. The welcome remarks were first offered by Dr. Hanumantrao Naidu, the Registrar of the Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence. He assembled all the speakers and guests and asked them to share their views and opinions on their interventions in values-based education. Dr. Sharat Kumar, an alumnus of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning and a senior vice president of Tejas Networks, chaired the entire discussion. The first to present was Mr. Nimrod Shainman from Israel. He presented his experiences on mindful education in terms of what children's basic needs are and would be. He introduced the term soul of education, where the core initiative is an invitation to envision a more holistic, humanistic, and an integrative education paradigm. The next to present was Mr. Adi Narayanan from the Anadi Foundation coming from Tamil Nadu. He began with a personal anecdote where he stated that he clearly remembered the inner and outer instrument and experiences that he underwent as a child. He said that what he experienced as a child was critical in shaping his thoughts as an adult. Therefore, we must remember what motivates us as a child and use that experience to guide our growth as we grow, he said. The third speaker was the revered Swami Shantatmanandaji, the head of the Ramakrishna Mission coming from New Delhi. He spoke about 2 successful programs that they implemented in over 4,000 schools all over India. The first was the Success Program, and the second he spoke about was the Awakened Citizenship Program, or the ACP program, which is a 3-year values education program with 16 modules and 6 universal themes, namely being heroic, expansion, Shraddha, seeking perfection in truth, and promoting citizenship. These values are taught to children from grades 6, 7, and 8, and they have seen high impact in the way students have responded and the teachers have trained all of the students. The next speaker was Professor J.S. Rajput, former director of the National Council of Educational Research and Training. He talked about how the 5 human values of truth, right conduct, peace, love, and nonviolence are the way to shape the world. He said that religion is the most important value that needs to be talked about today as we're talking about human values education. The basic concept behind every religion should be taught, he said. The objective would therefore be to create an illumined mind and harmonize thought, word, and deed. The next speaker was Dr. J.M. Sampath from the Arpita Foundation. He talked about how they adopted storytelling as a process of self-inquiry and teaching values. What are values? He came up with a very innovative definition. He said, values are the beliefs I hold within myself, and that governs my behavior in any given context. He created a program which incorporates parables as each box on a snake and ladder type of a matrix that asks the students to decipher it at 3 different levels. The last speaker for the evening was Dr. Bini Sareen, representing the Brahma Kumaris Foundation. She talked about the role of spirituality in values-based education and emphasized that values are not taught but are caught. Therefore, the teacher should be living these values and exhibiting them even before they expect the students to exhibit them. She said that the need of the hour was to introduce values in such a way that the students feel inspired. She talked of her research as part of her entire program, where she introduced values in the army, where the officers were experiencing values during the entire course that was given to them. She also spoke about values in healthcare, a spiritual approach that has been running successfully for the last 12 years. The spiritual tools that were used in such a values-based system in healthcare reflected meditation, visualization, appreciation, listening, reflection, creativity, and playfulness. She said, finally, spirituality and human values can never be different from one another. They have to be dovetailed into one another and be represented as a whole program. Thank you.
We all here know and understand the importance that a teacher plays in the life of a student. As students ourselves, we have had role models whom we have admired as we pass through school. And during this stage of life, we try to be that inspiration to others as well. And as part of this evening's cultural presentation, we have a drama being staged right here by youth from Singapore titled T for Transformation, a drama on the power of transformative teaching. Teachers are the heart of education. The very first letter of the word teacher is T, which stands for transformation. While information makes our students great, no doubt, it is their transformation that would make them good. This drama is about an inspirational teacher who, through her love and example, made remarkable changes in the lives of her students. We shall witness how her students, transformed, were inspired by her ability to connect and understand them. The transformation not only made them successful, but inspired them to serve their communities and see all as their fellow brothers and sisters. The drama is being staged by youth from Singapore, which includes both students and young professionals who strive to practice these human values in their daily lives and participate in various forms of community service. They will also be joined by students from Bhagwan's institutions, girl students from Prashanti Balamandira, and boy students from Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Kendra. T for transformation.
Kahil Gibran said, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you."
You may give your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes on, not backward, nor tarries with yesterday.
You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, and his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves the bow that is stable.
Dear friends, Mrs. Robertson, our former teacher, lived by these profound statements. Thank you for gathering here today to celebrate Mrs. Robertson's life. She is a mother, a teacher, a friend, a robust critic who left an indelible mark on her students' souls. She made us believe when we had no self-belief. She made us see our own potential when we had no eyes to see. She held our hands when we had nothing to hold on to. We would not be where we are today if it was not for Mrs. Robertson. Some of her students and I would like to pass on those treasures that she passed to us.
Some of my kids are from a different planet. They are not from Mars or Jupiter. They are from a completely unique planet where they keep all of the naughty kids.
Really? My kids are God sent. It's as if God specially chose them for me so I can mold them into good human beings.
Are you kidding? My kids make me want to run away. But then I fear that they will reach me somehow, some way. So there's no point. I can't escape.
That is not my case at all. My kids bring out the best in me, and they inspire me every day. What would life be without them? They are my breath of fresh air.
Mrs. Robertson, just wait till you get my 5-year-old Julie. She's coming to your class next year. She is the teacher destroyer. When she comes to your class, all of your theories will go out of the window. Beware. Here comes the terror of your life.
5 years old? She barely even lived for 5 years. How bad can the child be?
First day of school at kindergarten, and Julie was now joining Mrs. Robertson's class. Julie's parents had no time for her and were fully focused on building their highly successful careers. both her mother and father were always trying to win her over by buying her things and letting her do whatever she liked. There was no one to guide and love her. I guess that's why great thinkers have said, there is no such thing as bad kids. There are only bad parents or bad teachers. Can Mrs. Robertson see and draw out the best from Julie? Now that's the sign of a great teacher.
Good morning, dear students. It's a brand new year. We're going to have so much of fun and learning. I'm so excited and I've planned so many things and you will love it. Are you all excited too?
Yes, teacher!
That's wonderful, my darlings. Now let's get started. Can everyone please look at the whiteboard? What happened?
Teacher, Julie threw the chair out the window.
What?
Day 2 of the kindergarten.
Students, very good morning to all of you.
What's so good about the morning?
Well, mornings, we should be like the sun, bright and chirpy. Every day is a new beginning. We should always set our minds on being positive. My dear Julie, why did you do that?
I did what you said, teacher. I set my mind right. I feel so much better now after pushing Susie.
My goodness gracious. Off to the principal's office.
This set the stage for the next few months of headaches for Mrs. Robertson. Day after day, repeated incidents led to parents escalating to her Julie's mischiefs on their children. Mrs. Robertson began to feel that she could not function as a good teacher anymore.
How do I say I love my kids when I don't even like Julie? Even when the whole class had chicken pox. You know what? This Julie didn't even get it. At least for a week, she could have been resting at home. But no way. Throughout the year, Julie doesn't even catch a cold. She's there every single day, making my life miserable. Am I not human to feel this way? No. This is not the way a teacher should feel for her students. But I just can't seem to help myself. I should not continue like this. This is not right.
The next day, Mrs. Robertson headed straight to the principal's office, but her resignation was denied. The principal was away for a month-long sabbatical leave. For 20 years, the principal had not taken any long leave, and it's just so coincidental that she has taken such a long leave now.
1 month? What am I going to do? What luck? Either let me be or let me go.
What's troubling you, Mrs. Robertson?
I just feel that I've lost control of my class.
Can I share with you a trick I've learned?
Sure.
Once, when I had a similar issue and I was going to give up, I called Mum. She was a teacher and she reminded me that our thoughts are very powerful. It can impact the students, and the students can feel our thoughts. His thoughts are just energy. So if you feel anger, they can feel it. Likewise, if you feel love, they can feel it too.
Really? I didn't know that thoughts are so powerful. But how do we get this love?
Well, that was also my question. Mum suggested that I find some time daily to quieten my mind before class. First, to fill myself with love. Then, to imagine a big ball of love surrounding all my students.
That's easy. Does it really work?
You know, the results were unbelievable. It changed the energy of the whole class. The students were very happy, and lessons went more smoothly than ever.
Wow! You mean you never had another case of a student who was unruly?
It really got better, but I still had cases. Whenever that happened, I just imagine a big ball of love around them. Trust me, it works wonders.
Mrs. Robertson found a quiet corner and programmed her mind for love by imagining a big ball of love surrounding Julie. Only if there is water in the tank can you get water in the tap. If the tank is dry, how can you draw water from the tap? Likewise, if you fill the tank of your heart with unconditional love, you can have love towards everyone and receive love from everyone. Teacher, Julie is coming. She is approaching fast.
Well, let's get ready to welcome her with open arms.
Time to arrival. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Entering now.
Good morning, Mrs. Robertson.
Good morning, Julie.
Mrs. Robertson, do I look absolutely beautiful today?
Yes, you look really beautiful. But
what, teacher?
But to be really beautiful, you need to be beautiful inside too.
What? What does that mean? What does being beautiful inside mean?
Something is happening. Julie is responding. Mrs. Robertson couldn't believe Julie actually heard her. Mrs. Robertson was not one to waste a golden opportunity.
Well, dear, being beautiful inside means you should not punch anyone, means you should not throw the chair out of the window, means you should not hit someone with the stick, means speaking softly and lovingly to all, means respecting everyone, means listening to your parents, means listening to your teachers, means helping the less fortunate, picking up the litter, being kind to the animals.
Mrs. Robertson, being beautiful inside seems really, really, really terrible.
Somehow, when you use the projection of love, miracles do happen. After half an hour,
Mrs. Robertson, I was thinking about what you said. Can I ask you a question?
That's wonderful. And of course, you can.
I really feel like punching Susie. Is that being beautiful inside?
No. That's not being very beautiful inside.
Fine.
Half an hour later,
Mrs. Robertson, another question.
Go ahead.
I really just feel like throwing Lucy out of the window. Is that being beautiful inside?
No, my dear. That's not being beautiful inside at all.
Okay.
1 hour later.
Mrs. Robertson, one more question.
Great, darling.
Barbara and Davy are not doing their work. I would like to knock their heads just once, but I guess that's not being beautiful inside, right?
Yes, my darling. That's not being beautiful inside too.
That was the key to Julie's transformation. Is this being beautiful inside? Mrs. Robertson had found it. Now, every time Julie wanted to hurt someone, she kept asking herself if she was being beautiful inside. It became a habit, so much so that Julie's mother and even her counselor started calling Mrs. Robertson to find out what was going on, as Julie kept on asking them if what she planned to do was being beautiful inside. So, that way, Mrs. Robertson, through her sincere effort to self-program her mind to project love to Julie, found the key to Julie's heart. Love can indeed move mountains. The following year,
Hi, Mrs. Robertson.
Hi, my dearest Julie. I missed you.
I missed you too. Can I tell you something?
Yes, my darling. Go ahead.
I'm now a conflict resolver.
What's that?
Well, it's like if any kids are really being naughty and fighting, I'm the one the teacher calls. I'm the being beautiful inside conflict resolver, and I'm really, really, really good at it.
That's wonderful, my dear.
Julie, the conflict resolver? Who would have imagined that? Everyone is beautiful inside, but Mrs. Robertson just helped Julie discover it within her. A teacher's love can transform the world one by one. Inspire a child, inspire the world.
Students may forget what you said. They may even forget what you did. But they will never forget how you made them feel.
Mrs. Robertson had the habit of starting her class every day by saying, "Love you all." But one particular year, she knew she was lying because she could not feel that love for one of the students in the class who was very untidy and lost in her own world. There was nothing in the child that drew attention from Mrs. Robertson. She was indifferent to her and picked on her for all the wrong reasons. Her name was Sandra.
Sandra, you're late as usual and a walking mess of a child. Can't you be like the rest of the children and come on time? Class, I have with me your test papers. As I call your name, please come and collect your test papers.
Yes, teacher!
Ria?
Yes, teacher.
90 out of 100. You are the pride of the class.
Thank you, teacher.
Sarah?
Yes, teacher.
70 out of 100. Very good effort, Sarah. But I know you can do better.
Thank you, teacher.
Sandra? Sandra, did you hear me? Do you want me to call you again and again? 20 out of 100? Again another F? You bring the whole class average down. When are you going to start paying attention to your studies? Do you realize that you're the only one in the class who failed? This was an easy test.
Sandra was lost in her own world. It seemed like nothing interested her. She didn't smile. She didn't laugh. Where was she?
That year, Mrs. Robertson had written the progress reports for all her students, and there was a system in the school that the principal had to countersign every progress report.
Mrs. Robertson, could I have a word with you?
Sure, Mrs. Jacob. How can I help?
You see, I was going through the progress reports that you had written for your students, and there's one report that stands out that I would like to check with you.
Oh, yes, Mrs. Jacob.
Mrs. Robertson, I feel a progress report should report some form of progress. It should make a parent feel like their child has a future. We are teachers to guide and light up the lives of our students. The way you have written the progress report for Sandra, I really fear that her parents will give up on her.
Sandra, there is nothing I can do about her report. I've nothing positive that I can write about the child. Sandra is always the worst performer in the class. And she can't even be bothered to even look presentable.
Well, Mrs. Robertson, did you ever try to focus and praise Sandra on what she was doing right, instead of only raising her faults? Children do respond to love. There must be at least one good thing in the child that you can find. Focus on that. And from my experience, you should always try to put yourself in your student's place and find out her background. I really suggest you read her earlier progress reports too over the years. The poor child has really been through a lot.
Immediately, the principal called for the administrative staff to trace the earlier progress reports of Sandra over the years and got it sent across to Mrs. Robertson.
Mrs. Robertson saw the progress reports of Sandra and started reading. First year progress report.
Sandra is the brightest child in the class and always ready with a laugh. She does her work neatly and has good manners. She's such a joy to be around.
Mrs. Robertson was stunned by what she read. Second year progress report.
Sandra is an excellent student, well liked by her classmates. But she is troubled because her mother has a terminal illness and life at home has become a struggle.
Third year progress report.
Sandra has lost her mother, and along with that, herself. She desperately needs help, else we will lose this child.
Fourth year progress report.
Sandra is now completely withdrawn and doesn't show much interest in school. She doesn't have many friends and sometimes even sleeps in class.
By now, there were tears in Mrs. Robertson's eyes. She knew what to do. She went back to the class. It was a bright Monday morning. She walked in and again from the dais of the class said, "Love you all." But she knew she was lying. The love she was feeling for Sandra right now was far, far greater than the rest of the class. She decided that she was going to change her approach. For every positive reason, Sandra's name was called. There was no more negative reference to Sandra.
It was the last day of school. All the children had brought gifts for Mrs. Robertson.
Thank you, dear children, for all these wonderful gifts.
Teacher, what is that wrapped up in a crumpled old newspaper?
Dear ones, we are here to be kind. Laughing at others, it's not being kind. Now, let me see. What surprise is in store for me?
Somehow, Mrs. Robertson knew that the gift was from Sandra. Inside, she found an old, half-used perfume bottle and a bracelet from which already a few stones had fallen off. She sprayed the perfume on her and wore the bracelet.
Now, who was the kind soul who brought me such wonderful gifts?
I did, Mrs. Robertson.
It's lovely, Sandra.
Mrs. Robertson, now you are smelling like my mother. This is the last perfume that she used before she left me, and this bracelet was her most favorite thing. I also have a letter for you. Can you read it?
Dear Mrs. Robertson, I've seen many teachers, but you are the best teacher I have ever seen. Signed, with love, Sandra. These are the sweetest presents and the sweetest words I've ever received. I shall cherish these for the rest of my life.
One year later, at the end of school, there was a letter on Mrs. Robertson's table. It was written, "I have seen a few more teachers, but you are the best teacher I have ever seen. Signed with love, Sandra." Year after year, Mrs. Robertson used to get the same letter from Sandra.
Years rolled by, and they lost contact. Somehow, an agent traced Mrs. Robertson, who had by now retired, and handed over a letter. The letter was signed by Dr. Sandra, Ph.D. The letter read, "I have seen many more people in life, Mrs. Robertson, but you are still the best teacher I have ever seen. I'm getting married, and I cannot dream of getting married without your presence. Please find enclosed to and fro tickets. I really hope you will be there."
Mrs. Robertson could not resist. She no longer had the perfume bottle, but she still preserved that bracelet from many years ago. She wore that and went to the church. She was trying to sit in the last row, but volunteers identified her and ushered her right to the front row. And at the front row, there was a seat with a placard written, "Mother."
Mother?
Mrs. Robertson, how I've missed you.
I've missed you too, Sandra.
Do you like the seat I reserved specially for you?
I'm filled with love. You gave me the seat meant for your mother?
Yes, Mrs. Robertson. You are the closest to my mother I have ever experienced. And whatever I am today is because of you, Mrs. Robertson. Dear guests and family, without Mrs. Robertson, I would not be where I am today. She believed in me when everyone gave up on me. She loved me like my mother would, and that changed my whole life. I owe everything to my teacher, Mrs. Robertson. There were tears in Mrs. Robertson's eyes.
Without Sandra, I would have never realized that a teacher must first be a mother to her student, and only then a teacher.
Dear teachers, Mrs. Robertson changed the life of Sandra. She taught us all that a teacher must first be a mother and then only a teacher. Mrs. Robertson's story teaches us that teachers should always try to focus much more on praising what a child is good at, instead of only looking at their faults. Try to find out your children's background and put yourself in their place. It is only the language of love that can touch a student's heart. There is the Sandra sitting in your class too. When you go back to your classroom on Monday morning, you can be that Mrs. Robertson to them and be a turning point in their lives.
Mrs. Robertson always shared with us that we should care for others and have compassion. What's the use of high marks if a child won't even help an old lady cross the road, or give up his seat for an elderly lady in the bus, or feel the love to his fellow brothers and sisters who are suffering with pangs of hunger?
In many schools, we talk about helping others in our classes, but we never do anything about it. Mrs. Robertson felt that we should all carry out random acts of kindness in our daily lives, and she came up with service activities as part of our class for us to go out and help others. By doing service, she made us realize the incomparable joy that only service can provide.
She always reminded us that the end of education is character. Character only has meaning if it's a life offered in service to our fellow brothers and sisters of the world. Mrs. Robertson is no ordinary teacher. She's filled with love and is extraordinary in every sense. When all the teachers were just focused on marks, she taught students to focus on remarks and character. She always told kids and parents that exams are not the be-all and end-all. Education is for life, not just for living. Most importantly, she practiced what she preached. Her life is her message.
Now, we request all to please give a very warm welcome to our dearest Mrs. Robertson.
My dearest fellow teachers, I have only loved my students. That's all. From that love sprung guidance that I needed to be a good teacher. Children are always pure. They are born pure. They are like the rain that comes down from the sky. Only when it touches the soil does it become muddy. Till then, it always remains pure. For our children to remain pure, right kind of education is essential. Teachers are the heart of education. The very first letter of the word teacher is T for transformation. While information makes our children great, it is transformation that would make them good. For it is goodness that brings about a positive change and love in our world. For that to happen, first, transformation should happen within the teacher, and only by our own conduct and through integrating values such as love into education can we teach our students right. We, the teachers, are our own children's world. Let the change begin with us.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people in need, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We are all a part of one great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need.
We are the world, we are the children.
the children. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. Let's start giving. That's the choice we're making. We're saving our own life. Each will make a better day. Just you and me. There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people in need, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We are all a part of one great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need.
We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. We are the world. We are the chosen. We are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day. Just you and me. We are the world. We are the chosen. We are the ones to make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day. Just you and me. We are the world. We are the world. We are the children. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. Let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. Each will make a better day. Just you and me. There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people in need, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We are all a part of one great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one.
Good evening. With this, we come to the end of the program for day 1 of the Global Education Conference. I request all the 800-odd delegates, guest speakers, all the devotees, staff and students to please proceed to your respective venues for dinner. Kindly have dinner and retire for the day. Stay happy and stay healthy. See you all tomorrow. The morning program for day 2 will begin at 9 a.m. We request everybody to kindly be seated by 8:45 a.m. Thank you.